Yes, guys, shot by AK here. I'm doing my brutal 5 questions that I'm going to be answering. I'm outside in Gascoigne Estate, my estate, and let's get into it. Okay, so my favourite brutalist building slash estate, I'm going to be biased, and I am going to say Gascoigne, just because, like, this is a place that's very close to me personally, and I feel like even with the architecture, it's like these slab blocks. It's not just like, I don't know, it's not overcomplicated. It's just, this is what brutalism was made to be, just simplistic, functional. Don't get me wrong, this estate didn't really serve its function. Like, if you hear people talking about it, I don't think you're going to hear the most positive things, but yeah, I definitely say Gascoigne, a little bit biased, but is what it is. So my favourite modernist building slash estate is probably Thamesmead Estate, which is in like Erith, sort of Thamesmead way, just because of the fact that it's got loads of like little spaces for like children to play. So one of the things that the residents were telling me is that residents were really pleased that their children could play off the road. Like, so yeah, I'd probably say Thamesmead. And I've done a lot of work there with Gigi the illustrator. She actually got her art put up in a Housing Rebellion occupied house in the estate. So yeah, gonna have to stay in a bit basic with that, but it is what it is, and it is just a crazy, crazy bit of architecture. So my favourite architects are Peter and Alison Smithson. They designed Robin Hood Gardens, which is in Poplar, Blackwall, fully knocked down now. For a long time it was just empty and abandoned, fully gone. But definitely, I think what they tried to pioneer, like the streets in the sky architecture, such a shame that it didn't work. And I know you lot are going to be debating why that is. Maybe it was funding, maybe it was just flawed from the beginning. But I think personally, if that had been funded better, then it would have worked out really well. I like what they were trying to do with the community feel and the community vibe. So yeah, it was proper out there architecture, really unique. There's nowhere else in London, I would say, that has felt and looked like Robin Hood Gardens. When I went there when it was fully empty, and I've actually been there years ago before, and it was just crazy. Never seen anything like it. So definitely the Smithsons. So I've got 2 favourite accounts to follow on Instagram, and I'm going to be a little bit biased here as well. Don't hate me. But first one, Gigi the illustrator. She is brilliant. She does like illustrations of estates and areas, and I work quite closely with her. But even before I worked with her, her work was just really inspiring. And second of all, going to cheat again. I'm going to say Tea and Crumpets UK, because they do hood vlogs where they go around to different areas. There's a lot of brutalist estates and buildings that have been covered, but they actually go and speak to people. They look beyond the architecture and actually into the life of the area and how the people living in the area, maybe like a famous person, like a rapper or just someone known, has experienced it growing up. So they, everyone has a story to tell. That's what they say. So those 2, I'd say Tea and Crumpets and Gigi the illustrator, are 2 people who are really putting on for the UK community and just architecture, lifestyle, culture, everything like that. So yeah. Popular opinion when it comes to brutalism is, I think if it was funded better in it and the government had actually tried and the local councils had actually tried to make it livable, I mean, a lot of these estates are livable, but if the ones that have been run down into the ground, I don't think that was inevitable. I don't think that was due to the architecture. Don't get me wrong, there were some things that weren't ideal. There was damp, mold issues. A lot of these buildings weren't built to last, but they could have been invested in. I feel like a lot of these estates went so downhill because they didn't receive the support and the funding and even just the interference that they needed. It allowed them to fester and as a community just rot, as along with the buildings, the actual community was rotting. So that's my unpopular opinion. If brutalism was funded properly, like it is in other countries, in Switzerland, we see amazing examples of it, then I think it would be a different story. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'm shot by AK. Follow my Instagram down there. And that was my brutal 5 questions. Thank you. Stay blessed. God bless.